Right. Hi guys, my name is Mullis, like Dr. Ramsey said, and I am your freshman counselor. So I probably have a lot of questions about what your classes are going to look like next year, graduation requirements, all of the above. I'm going to try to answer some of those questions today from the broad perspective. We're going to stick around afterwards, so if you have any questions or any specifics that you think you want to ask while you're here, we're happy to help you out as well. I appreciate you guys coming tonight. We usually do this in a little different format where we're in small breakout rooms where it can be more informal and we can ask questions. But we wanted to make sure that we got the information out to you guys and kind of give you the need to know basics and timelines and things like that. So, as I said, my name is Mullis. I am the freshman counselor. This is my 10th year at Parkview. I have been a teacher here. I have worked within our leadership school, and now I'm a counselor. So, if I had to tell you guys anything, this is the best place to be. I'm so happy that I'm in Viking. Our staff and our students are amazing. And high school, guys, is such an exciting time. I know this year has kind of been a bummer and tough in so many ways. But you should still be feeling very excited about coming to Parkview, starting high school, and we're going to make sure it's the best experience possible for all of you. So I'm in charge of all the freshmen, so I have the current freshmen, and as far as scheduling purposes for next year, I will be working with the 8th graders at all of our feeder schools. We'll talk about that. My phone number and email is up there. I'm out and about with students a lot in my classrooms, so email is a really good way to reach me as well. My cards are on the back table also. After their freshman year, you guys will have different counselors. I keep all the freshmen from there, depending on alphabet by your last name for the remaining 3 years of high school. You will either be with Mrs. Cooper, Mr. Wilson, or Mrs. T. Mrs. Cooper has the alphabet with the last names A through G. Kelly T has alphabets A through N, and Mr. Wilson has alphabets A through Z. And you'll remain with those counselors for the last 3 years of your high school. Just so you guys kind of know how that works a little bit. All right, the big question, scheduling process and course requests for next year. I actually start this process tomorrow at Jarrett, and I am going through this process with all of our feeder middle schools over the course of the next 2 weeks or so. Okay? With some red tape and contact tracing and things like that, we're going to get creative with how this is going to be done this year. So it's going to be a little different format, but I'm feeling pretty positive about it. All of the middle school counselors, either this week or next week, are working with all of the 8th graders to kind of get them prepped as to what this is going to be like, to give them some information about the learning, and just to kind of give them some pre-information before we go into it. And then for course request, what I'm going to be doing is I have created a Loom presentation, which is like a little PowerPoint of me talking, that your student is going to watch at designated times at their middle school. Okay? From there, I'm going to log in and be accessible via Zoom while they complete a Google form. Okay? The Google form is what they will actually walk through to send in their course request for what classes they would like to take next year with us at Parkview. Okay? Make sure the Google form is completed. Okay? They have until about February 12th to do that. We have tied it to the parent email as well, so they're going to be prompted to enter the parent email. And fingers crossed, after all of our trial runs, if everything works okay, you guys should get an email notification about what classes your student has selected and what their plan is for their course request. Okay? We hope to have all of those course requests in by about the mid part of February. Okay? And just so you know what happens from there, we take the course request, we enter them into the system, and then we begin building our master schedule for next year and looking at how many courses we need based on how many classes you guys have selected. It kind of helps us build our master schedule, figure out staffing, figure out sections of classes, and kind of what we need to plan for next year. Okay? We want to get these course requests as close as possible. Okay? There might be a little bit of tweaking that we have to do when we're actually entering their schedule after the master schedule is built. But we want to try to get these course requests as close as possible because it has a lot to do with staffing and sections and things like that. Okay? If your student would somehow miss the Google form or not be there, The middle school counselors are posting that to the Canvas webpage, so they will be able to access it if they happen to be absent or miss the presentation. And then the biggest thing is, if we don't get this completed for your course request, I get to choose your classes for you. Okay, so please make sure those just kind of know that that's going to come up over the next course of the couple weeks. All right. Freshmen also, I'm going to talk to you about that here in a second. You guys get a little less class choice as a freshman than you do as a 10th, 11th, and 12th grader. Okay? Freshmen have a lot of required classes that you just have to take and get out of your way. But know that you still do have a lot of some course selection. Okay? And then as a sophomore, junior, and senior, your choices, as long as you're passing all your classes, getting your credits, and doing what you need to do along the way, your selection of classes, your college and career planning, and your choices of what you take open up significantly. Okay? To kind of give you an idea of what most freshmen should be selecting on this form, we got to have a math, English, science, and a history. Okay, so we got to have one class from all the core areas. Science will be physics first for most freshmen. Okay, U.S. history for most freshmen. Okay, English 1 for most freshmen. And then the math, kind of the middle of the road average class, is usually algebra 1. Okay, if they've taken any of these classes over the summer or in middle school, of course we take a look at that and then we discuss next steps. So each person might be a little different, but the vast majority of most freshmen kind of fall into those categories. Okay. Leadership 101, you're going to hear about our amazing leadership school here in just a little bit, but all freshmen will also take Leadership 101. They also need to take health. They also need to take physical education 1. Okay? Those are kind of the required credits that most freshmen take. Again, if you take something over summer school, I usually go through towards late summer after summer school grades are posted and re-clean up schedules and go through and look to see, oh, they were registered in health, but they took that over the summer. So then it opens back up. I'm usually contacting you guys, asking for different course requests in which you want to go into if you've already taken the class. Okay. Honors classes. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about honors classes. We do have honors classes available for freshmen. Okay. U.S. history has an honors option. Okay. English 1 will have an honors option. Physics first has an honors option. And the only thing, if your student is in Algebra 1 or what we call Algebra 1A and 1B, which is your foundations, it's a little bit slower paced math class, okay, especially if math is really tough for you. We don't have honors for those, but if your student is in a situation where maybe they already took Algebra 1, got an A or a B as an 8th grader, they're likely going to be looking at geometry as a freshman. And we do offer that at the honors level. Okay? Honors classes are traditionally a little bit more rigorous. They usually have a little bit more work. They usually move at a faster pace. It's really, really good to get a good idea for college prep purposes what an honors class is to help you kind of get an idea for college prep. And you're usually surrounded by other highly motivated students in those classes. Okay? So those are some perks for freshmen to take those honors classes, especially if you're highly motivated, especially if you're really interested in college prep, high GPAs, things like that. Those honors classes should be something that you should be selecting on your course request. Okay? English 1 honors, I put this up here just to give you guys kind of a heads up. There is going to be a little bit of a change with requirements to stay in English honors for next year. So they can go ahead and select it if they feel like that's going to be a good fit for them for next year. Okay? There's traditionally in the past been a required summer reading that goes along with English 1 honors. There will be no required summer reading, but within the first week or two of English 1, if they're in the honors section, the teacher will be giving them an assessment to complete. The student is going to have to score a certain score to essentially say that they know the material and that they're at an advanced enough level to stay in that class, okay? And then at that point, if they do not score on that assessment, the minimum score, those teachers will be notifying me to drop them back to the regular English 1 class, okay? So just so you guys have a heads up on that. that's kind of a change for next year. With English 1 at semester, if they're going to stay in it for the whole year, they also have to make sure that they get a 70% or better after the first semester to stay in that honors level English 1 class. Okay. All right, so here is just kind of a quick glance at high school. Okay. 25, guys, 25 is your magic number. You need 25 credits to graduate. Okay. If a class is listed as 1 credit, okay, that means that they're in that class all year long. So they're in the first semester and they're in its second semester. Okay. If a class is listed as a half a credit, so 5, they're only in it for a semester, and then that class would change for second semester. Okay. So we need a combination of 25 credits to graduate. Okay, that breaks down to 4 English language arts, so 4 English credits, 3 math credits, although that is going to depend on what college you might want to go to after high school. Many colleges will require 4 credits. Okay, so just kind of keep that in mind. And your counselors for junior and senior year will work with you on that college. Science, you need 3 credits. Social studies, 3 credits. Physical education, you need 1.5 credits, so that breaks down to 3 PE classes. Health, you just need 1 health class. It's a semester long. Most freshmen will take that. Fine art, 1 credit. Your fine arts are going to be like art foundations, band, choir, orchestra, those types of classes. Okay. Practical art, you need 1 credit. Practical arts are going to be things like in our family consumer science area, business, our industrial arts and tech. Those types of classes would be your practical arts. Okay. Personal finance, they will take that as a junior, and that is required for graduation. Okay. And on top of that, as it quite gets to 25, we need a total of 8 different electives throughout our time. Okay, so that's kind of your breakdown of high school and credits. Okay, some classes are required for graduation. So say you take the class and at the end of the first semester you fail. A fail means you don't get the credit for that class. In certain situations like that, you will be retaking the class either the following year or over the summer to make those back up. Okay, 60% or better is a D-. That gets you the credit. Of course, we hope you do better than a D-, but that would at least get you the credit. Okay, that's where it's a little different in high school than middle school. You don't get to just keep going. Okay, you have to earn the credits. You have to hit the requirements to graduate on time. Okay. Now, in certain circumstances as well, you can also work towards graduating early. If you earn all your credits on time and as planned, your counselors, your sophomore, junior, senior years will be working with you on potential early graduation if that's something you choose to do. Okay? So we have lots of options as long as you stay on track, get those classes passed, and do what you need to do. Okay? There is an announcement that I did want to make for a little bit of a change next year. If you or your student, not you guys, happens to be a full-time virtual student with Launch, if there are this semester, if they are with Launch and they fail more than 3 classes, we will be encouraging them to make sure they are seated in our building next year. Now, this is looking ahead a little bit. We are hopeful that next year is going to look a lot more normal. Of course, we don't have that information yet, but that's exactly what it'll look like. We all know that with this pandemic, it's kind of day by day sometimes. But we are hopeful that we're going to get back to a lot more normalcy next year, and that's going to be bringing our kids back into the building because you guys is the best place to be. You're going to get the best education when you're here and learning from us and your friends and just all the high school has to offer. Freshman focus and orientation. I will be posting to our social media. I will be sending mailing letters out to you guys when we get our plan for that locked in. Freshman focus and freshman fair is typically later in the summer, usually about the first or second week of August, about 1 or 2 weeks before the students would start school. We don't know what that plan is going to look like, of course, exactly at this point, where we don't have a date locked in, but we will definitely be doing something to acclimate your students to Parkview and giving them tours, schedules, kind of introducing them to our Parkview traditions, what all Parkview is, our policies, our procedures, and kind of getting their feet wet with some stuff before their actual first day of school. So watch for that information. It's also really important to follow our Parkview social media. Check out our Parkview webpage. We post announcements and information up there as frequently as we can, and that is a great resource for you guys for upcoming events. But I promise I will also mail you guys a hard copy of our freshman focus information when we get there. Guys, our counseling center, guys, we are, of course, here for academic purposes and help with scheduling, but my job is so much more, okay? I strive to really try as best I can. I'm in charge of all the freshmen, but I want to make sure that I'm at least trying to meet your student, getting to know them, trying to learn their individual needs, and help them as best I can throughout their school year, okay? Our counseling center is here for scheduling and academic purposes, but we're also here for emotional and behavioral supports. Academic advisement, policy planning. We have a plethora of community service and resources and referrals that we can provide your student with. One of the most frequent referrals that I tend to do is for our school-based clinicians. We are partnered up with Rural Behavioral Health and have school-based clinicians that if your student is struggling with something or needs just some more one-on-one counseling services and to go, in more depth than I can as your school counselor, I'm happy to make those referrals and things like that. We also have city bus passes if transportation is ever an issue, and if your student needs to ride the city bus for any reason, they can just come to the counseling center and we'll provide city bus passes as well. And I think that's me. Okay. Guys, it was lovely talking to you. I am so excited to have you here. I'm going to stress again, I know this year's been weird, and it's been tough, and it's been hard. Please be excited about Parkview. Please be excited about high school because we are certainly looking forward to having you guys with us next year. Okay. And I'm going to turn it over to Holly Sidman. She is our A+ coordinator and our leadership support.